Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. If you're just tuning in, my name's David, and on this channel, I focus on doing my best to provide you all with guitar lessons that are focused on jazz and improvisation. In this week's video, I'm going to be showing you guys 3 exercises that I think are super fun and that can really help you start to see connections between the arpeggios that outline a chord and the scales you're most likely used to practicing. If you guys are ready, let's jump right into the first exercise. In this first exercise, I wanted to combine the concept of pivoting, which I see as the resolution off the end of an arpeggio like this, and diatonic scale runs. So what we'll be doing is playing up each chord in the key of C, and then running down the scale before repeating the process again for the next chord. There's obviously lots of different ways you could structure an exercise like this, and even use the things you're practicing in your improvisations. Not to mention all the myriad of different ways we could work out the fingering. But for simplicity's sake, I'll just take you through this one structure. Check out how that looks now. Obviously, we should strive to practice a couple of different fingering options, as well as doing this in other octaves and in other keys. Aside from all that, though, I think a really important thing to take note of here is actually those little internal melodic ideas that happen in an exercise or a pattern like this. Here's what I mean. Just looking at the notes on the downbeat, the end of 2, and beat 3, we get these little melodic fragments. Not only is that kind of a pretty sound all on its own, but it's also a nice little syncopation. If we do our best to accent that little bit of melodic information while we run the whole exercise, we'll get a much more organic sounding feel to our lines. Check out that same exercise one more time, but with the emphasis on that melodic idea this time. It's pretty neat, right? Even though we're just running continuous eighth notes, it kind of sounds a little syncopated. Something else to take away from this is that even though we didn't fundamentally change the structure of the exercise, we didn't change any notes or anything, we can find deeper levels of things to practice inside of it. In the next exercise, we'll be using some chromatic notes to expand on this one, courtesy of Barry Harris's chromatic scale concept. If you haven't seen my video on how to practice jazz standards, make sure you check that one out for more information on how that chromatic system works. Now, let's check out the second exercise. In this exercise, we'll focus on using added chromatic notes to resolve into specific chord tones. What's basically happening here is that we're practicing resolving from dominant to tonic and from subdominant to dominant. This is a really great practice since it's going to get you thinking more about how to make lines function this way, rather than being stuck thinking about what to play over a static chord. Take a listen to what that sounds like now. Just like the last exercise, there's tons of ways that we can alter and modulate this one to improve our melodic and harmonic vocabulary. I really want you guys to think of these things I teach you as templates or springboards to deeper learning, rather than just something you practice by rote and that's the end of the story. Before we get into the last exercise, I just want to give a quick shout out to the good people over at truefire.com. In case you're new to the channel, you should know I've recently partnered with TrueFire to develop 2 killer courses that are going to focus on chord accompaniment concepts and how to improve your bebop language over a couple of different 12-bar blues cycles. TrueFire is host to literally thousands of courses on a wide range of musical topics from some really amazing artists and educators. If you use my link in the description, you can get 35% off your purchase of any course, and you'll also be supporting the channel at the same time. It's never been a better time to learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Now, let's check out one more exercise before we pack it in for today. One of my favorite sounds is what I've taken to calling the displaced pivot. What I mean by that is that if we play down a chord from the 7th, we can still pivot and resolve down a step, but we do it from the note we started on, like this. That creates a really interesting melodic contour and keeps our lines from being too one-dimensional. I'm going to take you guys through an exercise I cooked up in order to link all the chords in the key together like this. We'll play down a chord and then pivot before running up to the next chord of the key with a couple of half steps. Check out how that works. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you guys have found these exercises helpful. If you did, make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know about it. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell for notifications. Don't forget, you can always head over to my Patreon page to get access to the PDF of today's lesson, along with the materials for all the other videos on the channel too. You can also get that same material right here on YouTube by just hitting that join button. A special thanks goes out to my fantastic studio members, PH, David Zuckerbraun, Max Irwin, Everton Armstrong, Jay Jarek, Bill Jacob, Stephen Schwartz, Jay Montana, Skemster, Cliff Berger, Aaron Walters, Dorian Marley, Orjan Sundqvist, and Stephen Prager. An extra special thanks to Jazz Luminaire patron Vibhav Bhakti. Thank you to all of you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.